Hello and welcome to my podcast. This is episode 23 of the Toria's Toes. Get my words in today. Toria's Cozy Toes podcast. First of all, I'm going to apologise if you can hear a slight hum in the background. It is a heater kicking in and out. Unfortunately, the main heater in this room broke and I've had to put a replacement in that's a little bit noisier than I liked, but it's cold. I need some heating. So yeah, it's Saturday the 14th of February today. So happy Valentine's Day, happy Galentine's Day. Yeah, enjoy. I hope everyone is celebrated today in some way, which would be lovely for people. So yeah, so this is more of a regular episode. My last three have been a bit different because I was talking specifically about what projects I had on the go and what I was doing for the 12 cast-ons. So sorry, that's the heater kicking out now. I think. I'm not quite sure what it's doing. Who knows? It only came yesterday, in time for it being really cold last night. So, start off, what am I wearing? Well, I've got two things I'm wearing to tell you about today. The first is my t-shirt, which you can see. It's got eel, it's got link for this crochet hook. It's from YarnNYarns. Many people will have seen them online. They do lots and lots and lots of different designs of t-shirts and things all related to knitting, crochet and crafting. I'm a massive eel fan. Yeah, I'm really massive eel fan. So when I saw one with the art and the fact that I could get it in a V-neck, because I really don't like things tight in my neck, I went for it. So yeah, there we go. In fact, I went for it so much. I'm going to show you an acquisition straight away, because I also bought the tote bag that says, I bet the yarn isn't even in here. Just my luck. And again, it's got the eel looking for things. So yeah, as I say, massive eel fan. So yeah. And the second thing I can tell you about that I'm wearing is my cardigan. So this is a self-drafted raglan cardigan with a double knit band. It doesn't have any buttonholes, so it's not a button band, it's just a band, in my view anyway. This is knit in two different colourways by Treely Hooked. At least one was one of a kind. I can't remember what the other one was. And I literally did, you can't say, to get this marling, say this button band is just one colour and the rib's one colour as well. But to get this marling in the body, you can just see I've done, kind of see it there, 2 rows of one colour, 2 rows of the next, and just alternated that all the way down. The main body is held with a very fine thread of silk, because I was a bit concerned because it's superwash merino, it was going to stretch. I didn't do that on the button band, just because I wanted the button band to stretch a little bit to make sure it fitted around all the curves, because they say it is a V-neck. And actually, for those that watched my last episode, you may remember I talked about a cardigan where I counted rows to get an idea for my Advent one. This is the cardigan. So yeah, I just thought it's a little bit chilly. I wanted something over this t-shirt. It is a short sleeve t-shirt. So, do you know what? Should we get on to what actually I've been knitting and making over the last few weeks? Because I haven't actually managed to finish anything. It's 3 weeks since I last recorded, and in those 3 weeks, I haven't got a finished item, which kind of feels a bit, because I want to get stuff finished. However, I also only worked on 3 projects over the last 3 weeks, so I am focusing on trying to get things finished. And probably the project that sees most love and work is the Cosmos Blossom Throw, which is the Ambah Brown pattern that I'm doing with my Creative Anarchy Grim Tidings Advent from last December. And you may remember last time I showed you 7 squares. So there were these 5 that were all blocked. These are the ones I showed you last time. So yeah, you've seen those 5 before. There's then a huge pile over here. So this 2, I think this is the right one. I showed you, but they haven't been blocked. So I've blocked these now. So those 2 are blocked. So those are the 7 I had done last time. Yeah, I'd blocked now. Since then, when I say this project has had a lot of work, we have a further 1. I cannot hold more than 1 at a time. 2, 3, The dark's not really showing on there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Love that colourway. Squares. That's 15 block squares. There are 24 to do. But there's not just the put them on top of there actually, so all the block squares. Not just the 15 that are blocked that I've made. I also have 1, 3, so you can see the difference. 4, and a lot of these are the green ones, as you noticed. 5 non-blocked squares. Saying they're not blocked, I only finished the last one of those, so square 20 last night. Knowing that I was recording is the reason I didn't block them last night. So those 5 are going to go and be blocked this morning. So that I will have, or I've knitted 20 of my 24 squares. Not only have I knitted 20 of my 24 squares, I also have square 21 on my needles. Just see. Just done 14 rounds on this morning. So yeah. So I have in my bag, I only have 3. Now these are not the best cakes because this yarn's got silk in it. It's really not held its shape in the cakes, but I have 3 more to do. And then I would have done all my squares. So what are my plans for this project? Because I really want to get some things finished. I'm, as I say, feeling a little bit overwhelmed with 23 projects. It's a few too many for me, and I'd like some finishes. My hope or my goal is to finish those squares, 24 squares this weekend. So put these 5 that need blocking into blocking today. I said they're not perfectly blocked. It's just a case of it makes such a difference, and it'll make a difference for joining that I'm doing it this way. So yeah, my goal is that by the end of the weekend, I will have finished the 24 squares. Not only will I finish the 24 squares, I want to get them laid out how I want to lay out the blanket on my floor by tomorrow evening. I'm set myself some ambitious goals here with this, so that yes, I will then need to block 4, but I can still start the joining process with the other 20. So by next weekend, I've got it joined as a blanket, and then I can then think about what I want to do on the edge. I don't like the edge in the pattern, I'm gonna be honest. So you've got these beautiful, find one that's stocking stitch squares. That's, yeah, it's all stocking stitch, as you can see. As I say, it's a beautiful square. They're joined together with crochet join, great. So we've got stocking stitch and crochet, we've got 2 different textures. The pattern puts a garter stitch border on. I'm really not keen on that idea. I might change my mind when I see it as a blanket, but it doesn't appeal to me particularly. So I'm thinking at the moment either doing a crochet border, something like trebles, doubles, I'm not quite sure. Depending on what the crochet looks like joining it, that might be too heavy for this sort of thing. I'm thinking I might even just pick up a knit around and do an I-cord. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, my goal is to have that finished within the next 2 weeks. I've said before that there's a competition that I might be entering. At the moment, that's the closest thing I've got to finished. So if I enter anything, it'll be that. But so yeah, my goal is by next weekend it's joined and I'm working out the border so it's finished, because that will be quite a big project off my needles. It's generating another project, but that's so this bag is a bit darker there. You can just see contains all these little balls here. See it there. So that's all the leftovers from these 20 squares. So each one's got a little bit like that. I'm thinking it's about 2.5, 3 grams mostly. The ones I've weighed anyway. So what I'm going to do with that is do a litmus cow. Sorry, I'm doing the zip up. Just so I don't lose them. To do a litmus cow with those, with a grey. It is kind of on this year's radar, because part of it is not generating scraps, getting rid of stuff from my projects. It's not straight away. Because I've got other things I want to work on, like the rest of my 20-something projects and multi-garment projects. I was talking with some friends and saying about the fact that I'm not casting new projects on. I said one of my ways I'm getting around that. I'm not yet. Partially because the needle's being used in this, because you cast these squares off on a bigger needle. Is my hat project. So you may remember me saying my hat project is to use lots of single skeins of DK yarn I've got. A lot of them are hand dyed, not quite all of them, and a lot of hat patterns I've got. So if I'm looking and need to be at the point where I need to cast something on, I will try and cast a hat on first of all, because if I can do a hat, it's part of an existing project, but it's also a new pattern, it's new, it's exciting, which may get to the point where I need. So as I say, that's really what's seen most of my work, as you can imagine. I've done what? 13 squares since I saw you last, over 3 weeks. So quite good going. That's four and a bit a week. That's pretty good going, actually, when I look at it like that. So I've worked on a couple of other projects. Up until last weekend, I'd only worked on this project and my blanket. So for 2 weeks, I just did these. The only reason I'll explain why I've put an extra project into my rotation. So this, you may remember, is my F1 cow. So when I showed you this last time, I was down here. So I'd done the first 2 colours fully, plus the starting colour, and I was in this colour, which is Hass F1. So this is the yarn that was dyed by Verity of Truly Hooked, inspired on last year's F1 Team colourways. And some of the extras. So as I said, I had the full set in 20 gram minis. I know I've gone through it before, but this is for me, and my ordering is based on how they completed the season last year. So this bottom one is the Alpine F1 team. So they came last. There is more of this to go, because I want this to be a loop, I want to be joining it in a colourway and not on an edge of a colourway, because as you can see, I've done this almost checkerboard black, 2 black rows of black, just to represent the black and white flag in F1, and also just to put a barrier between. So that's, Alpina came 10th. This is Kick Sauber, who came 9th. This one is now not one of the teams. This is Power by Sparkles, I think it's called. It's based on a unicorn, where one of the drivers, Carlos Sykes, was asked in an interview about the name of what a child should name a unicorn. And then he put the unicorn on his helmet, and it's in 9th place, jointly with this one, because he came 9th. And the only reason I put them that way around is because I wanted to split the 2 blues up a little bit. So so this is Hass, which is where I was last time. So you can see I've done that one. We then have this one, which is Aston Martin. We then have this one, which is the RB. And I'm now on this one. I'm quite a long way through this one, actually, which is the Williams team. So I'll pop my marker where I am now. So I say this was, try doing this, the project that was in my handbag and I was carrying around a lot. It's got a little bit big for that now. Taking up a bit too much space in my handbag, really. It's not a small carry around project. It'll probably still go to knit groups and things. But yeah, I can't carry it around in my handbag because it's just, as you can see in that bag, it's just a little bit too big. And I don't have a massive handbag. I have a big enough handbag, but I don't have a massive, massive handbag. So carrying that around with me all the time, just a little bit too much now. Saying that, I am still wanting to get it done, because again, this project has multiple items in it. But yeah, so that's, yeah, not in my handbag but anymore. But so if I get stage one bored of these squares, or actually I just want something that's round and round, I'm not having to look at a chart all the time, because even though I've done 20 of them, I still need the chart. I still need to follow the chart for the squares. So yeah, that works quite well. So last weekend I was like, I took this to the hairdressers and was like, this is getting a bit big. Have a think. So I looked up at my project bags. I looked at what was on them and what would work in my handbag. And they've got probably, I would say, 3 or 4 different items up there that would work in my handbag. One from this year's cast-ons, and I would say 3 from previous year's projects. So I said, okay, these 2 are this year's cast-ons. I want something from the old ones. Let's have a look. What can I get finished fairly quickly? You know, actually get something done. So I chose this project bag. And yes, it's a Christmas project bag. But that's because it's a project I started at Christmas. So this is my Gallant yarn from Andknitco. So you may remember I bought this at Stafford Wool Gathering last year, because I wanted a Christmassy self-striping and then decided it wasn't quite as Christmassy as I thought. So this, I have a half-finished object, is the first sock. I was just beyond that marker there when I've picked it up, so I didn't have a lot to do on that sock. Got the first sock finished quite quickly. I'll be honest, got that finished before I changed it into my handbag, because I looked at it and went, it's not a lot to do, I need to get it done. So I think that was when I'd done 2 squares in a day and was like, enough squares. So I do now have in my little, this is also from Piccadilly, as is the bag. I have started the second sock. I've literally done 2 stripes. But this is now the project that lives in my handbag. It's small and neat, and it's dead easy to get in and out, and I can do little and often, so that we'll get a pair of socks eventually. As I say, that's going to sit in my handbag. It will go to knit groups and things with me. It goes round lunch times. I quite often knit at lunchtime at work. Yeah. Very occasionally knit through Teams meetings, if I can get away with it. Let's get away with it. So yeah, that's the third project that's come out and I'm working on. However, it may only be 3 knitting projects. Grabbing some coffee. There is another project that I've started. Yeah. Some of you may have seen it because I put it on Instagram last weekend. I have a spinning wheel now. I used to do some drop spindling. We found the bag of random stuff when I cleared through the bags. Unfortunately, my shoulders just won't let me do it. Particularly that, yeah, my left shoulder's not great and I can't do that anymore. And I've been umming and ahhing about it for a while. And then I saw somebody saying they were selling theirs. So, and yeah, they'd put the location and I went, oh, so a very rough location, but that's not, you know, that far from where Mum lives. So ended in a conversation about, appreciated it was early in January. Was there a time limit on collection? Would it be possible to collect when I was up seeing Mum at the end of January, beginning of February? And that was what we arranged. So I bought a spinning wheel. So I have a Kromsky Fantasia. If I remember, I will try and put the picture in here. So that came home with me on Monday, the 2nd of February. Now, I'm going to be honest, I actually didn't start using it till the following Sunday, because what I wanted to do was give myself a block of time that I could sit and just play and have a go. And that's what I've been doing. So I did a couple of hours last Sunday. Plan is to try and do it every few days. I've not really managed it this week. It's been a bit hectic. But yeah, so trying not to let that take over from my knitting, because I do enjoy it and I enjoy just sitting and I can concentrate on other things. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Exciting. Very, very exciting. It's a beautiful little wheel. So I have got a little, she says, little bit of yarn to show you. Sorry, I'm just moving. My back's been a bit twingy, my shoulder's been twingy. Whether it's because I've had a cold, I don't know. But anyway, you're not here to hear me whinge about my body falling apart, so we'll ignore that. Little bit of yarn to show you today. So the first yarn, I mentioned it last week. Not last week. I think I mentioned last episode that I've got January countdown. So this is it. And I wasn't showing it because I knew some people would be behind. I'd got behind it various times. So this is it. Looking at a wonderful mess. So what we'll try and do. What I'm going to try and do, she said. Yes, that's the first one. I'll show you it. So there's the colours in all their glory. So that one is knotted on, so I know it's first, because it is an absolute beautiful rainbow. I've got an idea of what I might do with this now. Somebody's given me an idea. So there are 30 colours here. So it really does, as you can see, go through the rainbow beautifully. I'm umming and ahhing a little bit, but I'm wondering about possibly doing something, either another one of these, which is the anthology throat, or doing the button box throat with it. It is only 10 grams of each, but there's 30 of them, so it's quite a lot of yarn. That's kind of my one idea. So what yarn is this? This is the Wildflower yarn, and it's her Lumin 31 Days of Light box. And the 31st colour was Cloud, which is here. So there's her. And I do have it on Sparkle, yes, because Sparkle's always better, which is why I'm thinking a throw might be the best option. However, at the moment, I've got that much else on the needles. It ain't getting cast on anyway anytime soon. And there's some little stitch markers I got with it as well, so you can just see those there. Yeah. So yes, that's kind of, as I say, it is only, well, it's a lot of yarn. It's 3 skeins. It's 30, 10 gram minis, so it's only 3 skeins of yarn. So only 4 skeins. So that is enough for a 4-ply cardigan for me, but I'm also thinking it'd make quite a nice black blanket size blanket. And again, it'd be that beautiful rainbow, really show it off. We'll see. Seen some other things I like as well. But I know me as well, and I know what I will find easier to work. So, yeah. So it came in this box. I'm not going to show you them all. Came in this beautiful box. And each day they're here. Came with a little quote, a little comment, little thing. So you can just see this one says, even the slowest mornings are proof that you chose to stay and see what might happen today, what might happen next. So there's a whole bunch of them, and I've kept those. As I say, I didn't necessarily open this every day, but it was really nice sometimes just to sort of read through. And I suspect I'll keep these as little positive affirmations as well. So this does need to go away somewhere. But yeah. So we're just gonna put everything back in here for now. And as I say, this doesn't count on this year's incoming because it came in before the end of the year. My friend arrived at the end of January, but it was well ordered, well back in last year, so it's definitely last year's yarn. That's definitely last year's yarn. my yarn, my rolls, it's last year's yarn. However, I have bought some yarn this year. Yeah. I sort of know when it happens. I have a bit of a bad day. Or even just a bad appointment. And quite often my coping mechanism is just to take myself away, scroll for 5 minutes, not even 5, 2 or 3 minutes on my phone, take my mind away, remind myself there's good things in the world. Because a lot of my Instagram feed is yarn. An awful lot of yarn, really late stuff. Before I come back and deal with what's happened. And during one of the scrolling sessions, I saw that Spin and Blether had put some one-of-a-kind yarns onto their shop. So this is who they are, Spin and Blether, and they specialise in dyeing self-striping yarn. So this is a one-of-a-kind 12 stripe repeat, it says. That's it. So yeah, it's 75/25, 250 grams, so I can wind them to match. And as I say, I love self-striping socks. Self-striping yarn I like. I use it for all sorts of things. And then I also got these. So this is also 75/25. It's called Quiet Beauty. Yeah, 5 mini skeins. I think at least one of those will go for heels, toes and cuffs in this, but I'm not 100% on that. I might change my mind. You never know. So yeah, there is a bit of incoming. Is that all the incoming? Not quite. Because I did buy one other thing from them. You can tell I ordered this after I got my wheel. Because I bought this, which is 100% British wool. So super soft and ready to use. It's 98 grams. So yeah, my plan is to try and... With my spinning at the moment, I've got lots of parts of where I've had 100 grams, where I've used some for various things. I was planning to use some of that, just make up some yarn today, but this I want to spin as a nice yarn. Thinking it will make a hat. I want to knit up yarn I spin this year. Yeah. So yeah, so that came from Spin and Blether as well. That's it for incoming. So really it's not been that bad. Not considering the January I had, it's not been that bad, because quite often, again, when I feel a bit poorly, it tends to be when I buy yarn, but yeah. So my plans is to say I want to get this blanket, this Cosmos Blossom throw finished. That is what I'm going to focus on over the next week to 10 days. Get that done. Get it out my get it out my whip list. I also want to get the F1 work on the F1 cow, so that's going to be my sort of simpler knitting at home for now. Once I finish the Cosmos Blossom, I intend to pull out something that requires a little bit of concentration, a little bit of thought, and I think that is going to be my chunky cable cardigan that I was working on, which, if you've seen it, is a self-drafted pattern. It's a last year project, and it's one that I'm sort of thinking that another month and a half, as it gets a bit warmer into spring, it's the sort of thing I will throw on instead of a coat. So I'd like that finished fairly promptly, actually. It is chunky, so I can only do so much, but I'm thinking actually that would be quite good, because I can do chunky, I can do F1 cow, I can alternate between them. So yeah, that's going to be my plan to start with. Once I've finished that, well, once I finish the F1 cow, I think I'm going to put up my pink, the sort of checkerboardy one. I can't remember what they called it. Anyway, one of this year's cast-ons. I'm going to do another cardigan. And possibly also pull out the Tides cardigan, because I need to do that in cooler weather, which is what we've got at the moment. So those are kind of the three that are in my head at the moment that I want to pull out and work on. Well, I want to work on everything, but I want to also try and focus on a project, get it finished, get it out, and then focus on something else. Ideally, by Easter, I want my whip count under 20. Now, to do that, I need to finish 4 projects. One will be the Cosmos Blossom, one will be those socks. Unfortunately, the F1 won't count when I finish this item, because there's at least 3 or 4 more items to do. So I will need to get a cardigan finished and something else. That something else may be another cardigan. It may be that I pull out. In my old whips, there's a Musselburgh and there's another stripy cowl. In my newer whips, there's some socks. Any one of those 3 could go in my handbag. I'm thinking it might be one of the 2 older ones, because they're single garment projects. The socks in my 12 cast-ons is not a single garment project, so it won't get a project out of my whips. So yeah, that's my kind of goal. Life-wise, as I said, I had a weekend up at my mum's the other week. It's my niece's 8th birthday. It was my sister's birthday today, so we were celebrating all that. Otherwise, there's not been a lot happening in life. It's been a bit quiet. So I've picked up bugs. Thanks to all the kids I see. Thank you. Yeah. About to be half term, which in terms of work doesn't massively affect me. Well, it means I don't get to go to any of my school clinics, basically. And it means the roads are so much clearer. Driving to Chesterfield. In terms of other stuff, obviously I've not got Rangers this week, which makes life a little bit easier. Gives me an evening at home. Or it might not. It might not. I've got to go to Chesterfield. Normally I cover Chesterfield on a Friday, and then every other Wednesday I do a kids specialist children's clinic up there, which was this Wednesday just gone. However, because one of my colleagues is off, I have to cover the adults this coming Wednesday, which might mean I stop at the yarn shop on the way home. Not quite sure on that one. It probably will depend how the day goes. If I have a bad day, who knows? Sometimes I'm just so tired I want to get home. Particularly, I've been trying to get in on the Fridays when I'm up there, and I'm just so tired by Friday evening. I just want to get home and chill for the evening, so it's not happened yet. We'll see. Coming up in life, well, more of the same. Yeah, it's carrying on as normal. Saying that, my next podcast, I know, as I said, I plan to record in 3 weeks' time. However, it won't be till the Monday afternoon or the Tuesday in 3 weeks' time, because that weekend, rather scary to say it's 3 weeks' time, I will be away with some yarny friends having a bit of a knitting retreat weekend, and just relax. So, yeah. I don't think Petra will be coming with me. Partially because I think she's going to set up for spinning at the moment, and actually getting her in and out of the car is not ideal. And partially because actually I think I might still need some practice time with her before I let all my friends loose on her, because I know damn well that when I get there with her, they're going to want to have a go. They're going to want to play. And while I'm still making quite a lot of mess of bits of yarn here, there and everywhere, bits of fibre, I'm not going to do that to anyone. So yeah, you might have to wait till next year, guys, to play on her. I might take her to knit and natter in the summer when we're outside. Who knows? But I have a feeling she's not going to come with me this year. So yeah, I'll see you in just over 3 weeks' time. Oh, no, I know what I was going to say. I've remembered it. Forgot last time. I realised after my last podcast that actually what podcast went up a day before the year anniversary of this channel. And I think I'd mentioned it was coming up to a year, but not really said more than that. So yeah, this channel is a year and 3 weeks now, or year and 20 days old. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's supported me over this year, who's liked videos, who's commented, who's subscribed. And I just want to give a little something back to the community to say thank you. So what I'm going to say is anyone who comments, likes and comments this video on this video, in the next video, so just over 3 weeks' time, I'm going to do be the random comment generator or put all the comments into a list and do a number, and offer a digital pattern to anyone who to one winner. That up to probably say the UK value of about £8 because that gives you a good pattern. So yeah, like, comment, tell me what you're working on, and then tell me what your plans are for the year for clearing things. Are you clearing whips? Are you someone who doesn't like having lots of whips and only has 1 or 2 projects? Tell me what you're working on or your plans for this year, and I will pick a digital prize winner in the next episode to celebrate the birthday of this podcast. So yeah, gonna say happy birthday to my sister because she won't watch, but happy birthday anyway. And I will see you all in 3 weeks' time. Bye.